Hey everybody, it's Glenn back with another Clash Royale analysis video. We are here at the finals of the NoTilt League World Championship Game 5 between Line and Airsurfer. This one takes it all. And it features a Mortar, which is pretty amazing, versus a Graveyard Poison. So we start off here with Skeleton Barrel and nothing really doing. A lot of this in the beginning I think was just a little bit of a feeling out process to see what both players were going to try. I imagine both players were like super nervous. I believe it was more than $10,000 on the line here. So Line comes in with the Mortar. And Airsurfer times in that Knight so that when the Brawler comes in, if the Mortar, if the Brawler is out of range, then the Mortar will focus on the Knight, and perhaps that the Mortar will still get one shot on the tower, but you want to really limit the damage here. This is really great by Airsurfer here. The Mortar does go after the Brawler. Line tries to get into some Spear Goblins, but they get snowed out. And I think that Musketeer was on the line. I can't tell. When I look at that poison, I'm thinking maybe she was on line. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter when she started walking, but you never know. And all of the HP that Musketeer has matters, as we saw the other day with one of the games from earlier in this grand final. So the Mortar doesn't do anything. Poison gets some damage on Line's tower, and this is where we are at the moment. I did say that this is a Graveyard Poison deck, so let's take a look at when that Graveyard does get played. Just remember that. Right now it hasn't been played, but Mortar gets played again, and Mortar Skeleton Barrel comes out at the same time. So Airsurfer brings in Mega Minion. Goblin Brawler comes here. Now, I would have thought, if we look back at the positioning of this cage right here, I would have thought it would have been a little bit over here. Now, Mortar has range for days, so it's going to hit it no matter what. I would have thought it been played a little bit on, no, I shouldn't say a little bit over here, but on the left side, so that when the cage is broken, the Brawler would start running out here. We saw that earlier in this game. And if you look at it here, the HP is the same. The reason why that didn't happen is because we had the Skeleton Barrel come down too. But Airsurfer had Mega Minions. So it was really a weird kind of situation here to think about. Now, perhaps that Airsurfer was also thinking, okay, if I get through this, then perhaps we're going to have a really great counter push. We have a Goblin Brawler, we have a Mega Minion, we can get something else on the board, and then we'll have enough distractions where we can play Graveyard. So that's what I was thinking in terms of that position right there by the cage. Pretty much could have been the game, could have set the game in a different path. We'll see right now. We have a Knight. Now we have this kind of three-headed attack that could be a really great counter push if it works out for Airsurfer. The Mortar does go after the Knight, and that Knight by Line gets in the way, which means Mortar gets a shot on the tower, so it ends up being a plus for Line with 1 minute to go. And now Line comes in with another Mortar, but this time it's on the left, which I thought was really interesting as well. Because if you look at the situation here, Musketeer comes down, then Goblin Gang. Now, he could have put Mortar over here on the right side, and it would have had blockers. But he opts to go to the left side. So, part of me is thinking that it looks like it's an offensive tower, but it's really a defensive tower, a defensive Mortar. Because what it's really trying to do, it's trying to bait Airsurfer into playing cards here in the middle. And if they get hit, this frees up all of the attackers over here to go do damage on the Princess Tower. It's a really weird positioning of this Mortar, because it looks like it's going on offense. But if we look at the situation here, you have a Musketeer, you have a Goblin Gang. It really looks like a defensive Mortar. And I think Airsurfer kind of understood that, and I think that's why he played Cage right here instead of Cage normally being over here. He played Cage right up front. Get that Musketeer and make sure that Musketeer doesn't do anything. Here comes Knight, and in the end, with the poison down, Mortar doesn't get anything on the Princess Tower. So 2 attempts for line with the Mortar and nothing doing. And now here comes another Mortar on the left side. Cage, Knight. Now Mortar's going to be readily distracted. Spear Goblins comes in, but the poison will do in that Mortar. And now here comes Skeleton Barrel. Meanwhile, we have Musketeer and another Mortar gets played. Let's rewind that here. So we have the Musketeer coming down from the right side. So while this Skeleton Barrel, everybody's focused on that. Airsurfer sees this place snowball, and now we have a Mortar being played. This is what I was talking about earlier. Like, okay, why wasn't that Mortar was on the left side being played when you had Gang and Musketeer that could have been blockers? Perhaps Line saw that in that moment and said, okay, let's do it this time. I have a beefier dude up front. I have a Knight, a beefier dude, and a Musketeer that is at almost full health. Let's go for it. And now I have Gang. So this was a situation that could have been played earlier in the game that Line said, okay, I won't do it here. I'm gonna use that Mortar and make it look like it's an offensive Mortar and play it as defense. This time he says, okay, let's go the other way. And that situation that presented itself, but I didn't take it, let's do it right here. So he goes for it. And Airsurfer says, okay, we gotta poison it. So this Mortar gets distracted and doesn't get anything on the tower. And so now next tower wins the title because we're into overtime. Skeleton Barrel comes in, which means Mega Minion, because Airsurfer has dedicated that minion to the Skeleton Barrel. We have Mortar on the left this time. Cage gets planted. Those Spear Goblins say, they get snowed again. Skeleton Barrel and the Cage comes down, and it got played just high enough so that Musketeer could pick it off. That was a really fantastic play by Line right there. I thought this was a game changer right here because the Mortar got played on the left side. So Skeleton Barrel gets played, and it gets played right here. If it gets played a little bit further down, I don't think the Skeleton Barrel gets down here. And you don't want it to be played over here because the Mortar then gets freed up. It can be played on the left side. Then you have to spend resources here that are only dedicated to the left side instead of really both sides. So this was really unfortunate, and Line saw and said, okay, let's go for it. I'm going to pick this one off with the Musketeer. And he gets it, and now he sees this opportunity because Cage is not down. It's the Brawler that's out. This Brawler is not going to be around for long, so Airsurfer is going to have to cycle through to something. He has a Knight. He plays that, and the Knight, oh, I couldn't believe this. The Knight walked up instead of to the right. It's tough to see, but I think if you see right here, it walked and then it goes up. Now, that means I think it was just out of the range of this Mortar. Now it's back in range of the Mortar. I mean, it was really incredible. it would have been out of, now it's still attacking it, but it would have been out of sight, and Mortar would have been focused on the tower. I mean, just this is the difference between winning and losing. I mean, it was just crazy. That walk-up was the difference between that Mortar still focused on the knight and going to the tower. Meanwhile, the Mortar is still pretty healthy, and we're going to have to do something. So Airsurfer brings in a cage and a knight. He's cycling through, and there's 60 seconds left on the clock. And I'm stopping the video right here because I said a word earlier in this video, and you probably forgot, and I forgot too because I was looking at the cards and I was thinking, has everybody played all their cards? Something's missing. And I was like, there's no way that the win condition for Airsurfer is a knight and cage and poison. It's not poison cycle. That would be really nuts. I mean, it could be like a 2.6 deck. I mean, we've seen Airsurfer do that before. 4 minutes have been played, and Airsurfer has not played his graveyard yet. But we have to ask the question of when would it have been the best opportunity to play graveyard? And so far, if we go back to all 4 minutes that have been played so far, there's not an opportunity to say, okay, yeah, that would have been an opportunity to play graveyard. There was not, because Lime was so good in his Mortar placements and putting pressure with the Musketeer and the gang, Spear Goblins, and the Knight, that it was tough for Airsurfer to say, okay, this is the chance for me to go in and use graveyard right here. Because he had to keep playing defense. He had to make sure that that Mortar did not get locked in on the tower. And because he had not locked in on the tower, we're still even in damage right now. So here comes the Brawler. And Airsurfer plays with Skeletons to make sure that that Mortar stays locked in, not on the Princess Tower. A Knight comes in, gets on that Archers. And the Knight on the left gets on the tower, but it was the healthier tower. And now it's just been triple elixir. It's just these type of cycles, you just see a bunch of characters on the board. So let's rewind this here. So what happened with this Knight? This Knight comes in right on the bridge. And it came on the bridge because I think Lime was expecting Snowball to be played on those goblins. And it worked out because it pushed the Knight forward. And Knight says, no, I'm not going to go to the cage. I'm just going to the Princess Tower. So that freed up an opportunity to bring in Skeleton Barrels. And the Musketeer is just picking everybody off again at the river. A fully healthy Musketeer, almost fully healthy. Now, and the last card for Lime was Fireball. You see now he says, okay, I got a minute to go. Let's just start spamming fireballs. We can do it. We can cycle through. And Airsurfer says, this is the chance. I have to go for it. But before we focus on that, what led to the opportunity? Usually in these cases, when we see the graveyard get played, it's because you have a tank up front that's focusing, that gets everybody's attention. Then graveyard, the skeletons just come in and they just swarm the tower. Airsurfer saw this. He saw the opportunity because you had a Mega Minion here that everybody was focusing on. It's pretty healthy. It could wipe out these Spear Goblins and the Musketeer over here. And because of that, Airsurfer said, okay, we can do this. So here come the skeletons from the graveyard because the Princess Tower is focused on the Knight. And it's just not enough. And Line survives millions of players to get to the 20-win challenge. Gets through the weekly brackets to get into the pool play. Then gets into the top 8 and becomes the NoTilt League World Champion for Clash Royale. I mean, this was it was incredible to watch this grand final series in the last the last series being played against Airsurfer was really great. We broke down one game from earlier in this series. I mean, just to see this thing unfold from beginning and to watch the championship, it was just unbelievable. So congrats to Line. Congrats to everybody who made it to top 8. Congrats to everybody who got through the 21 challenge, because, I mean, I know I didn't. I forgot how many wins I was able to get to before I kept losing and getting that third loss. Yeah, what a tournament series. I hope this happens again very soon. So I'm in the video right here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like, be sure to subscribe wherever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video.